Hi, welcome back to my channel, Mommy Trainee. Today I am going to go through some of the school lunch supplies that I have been using and tell you what works and what doesn't. Let's get started. So my son is 5 and he's going into kindergarten in September, which is about a little less than a month away by now. And which means that we have to start prepping his lunch, have him pack lunch and go to school. He has the option of buying lunch at school, but I wanted to make sure that he kind of develops a pack lunch kind of habit. It's a good habit to have. It's not something like one of the things I don't like is that I don't really know what's in the lunch and or how much or if he's gonna eat it, or at the end of the day I don't know how much he did eat or didn't eat. So I don't want him to spend $3 buying a lunch for it, and then he ended up doesn't like it, he doesn't eat it, and then he just don't eat. So we wanted to try to have him make a habit of packing lunch, and I have some school supplies here, or school lunch supplies here, that is preparing us to do just that. I do have to say, packing lunch for us is not completely new now. In the past, when he was going to pre-K, he is at a school that's more that's also a daycare, so food is not really an issue. He eats at school, and I know that the teacher looked after him because he's been at that school for many years by now. And this summer we actually pull him out and have him go to a summer camp, which is a little bit more like a school. So you have to pack a morning snack, and then you have to pack your lunch. If you're staying for after school, you have to also pack a snack for after school care. So I kind of went through the motion and see what works and what doesn't work. Now, my son is someone that doesn't really like sandwich. Ham and cheese, no. Peanut butter and jelly, no. Maybe just jelly he would eat. The only thing that he would eat close to a sandwich is a Nutella. So, and I just barely start him on having turkey breast cold cut. So let's see how that goes. So some of the stuff that I am showing you, it's really for hot lunches, which is actually quite easy. If you cook at home, whatever that you have left over, just do that and just heat it up in the morning, maybe in the microwave or the stove, oven, whatever, and then put it into a thermal. So let us get started finally. So the first item that I'm going to show you is a some people call it a lunch box, but it's not really a box, it's a lunch bag for the box. So this is an insulated lunch pack, and for this video I'm going to try to link everything to the bottom of the video in the description box. Hopefully I could find everything, because maybe some of the stuff at Target I wouldn't be able to find. So my son is really into dinosaurs, so when I see this, and this is something that we could customize, so we actually have his name embossed here. Obviously I don't want to show the name. The only thing that I kind of don't like is that I like the look and I show it to my son and he likes it, but then his name, the last name, one of the last letter, it's not really aligned with the rest of the name, so I kind of have to see if I could get the seller to maybe send me another one. I'll return this one or whatnot. But usually it's something that if you customize, they normally don't want you to return it because they can't use it for other people. But then in this case, maybe they should make an exception. I'll let you guys know. If they don't let us make an exception, maybe you shouldn't buy from them. But my son is really into dinosaurs, so I got this one for him. It's very colorful. I am assuming not that many people would have it at school, so it's finally easy to spot. Anything that I buy for my kid, I try to buy something that is not something that everybody has, unless it's something that he really wants, so that he could actually stand out from the crowd, or his lunchbox could stand out from the crowd. Because I don't know, maybe they put lunchboxes in somewhere in a cubby and then at lunchtime they just pull it out. I don't want it to be mistaken with other people's stuff. Actually, another tip, same thing for if your kids are going out to crowded places, or if they go on to road trips, or not road trips, field trips with the school. Field trips with the school, they usually have you dressed in their kind of uniform. It has the name of the school and the phone number. If this kids get lost, call this number. But if you have a choice, if he's going to a crowded he or she is going to a crowded places, dress him in something that's really bright and stands out, like neon yellow, orange. From a sea of kid, I could spot that that's my kid. Because sometimes when you're out there, when there's so many kids playing in the playground, you just don't really know who's who. Okay, so enough of that ranting. So this lunch bag, one thing that I like is that the zipper for the main compartment, there's two zippers. So there's one here and one here. So you could zip it up to, oops, the name came off. You could zip it up in the center so that it's easy for you to kind of like pull it. And once you open it up, it's pretty standard inside here. It's insulated, so you could feel the foam here. It's something that supposedly it's easy to wipe. I don't know. Lunch boxes, quite honestly, I don't think that it's gonna stay clean for that long. I've seen the son that my son came back with. Sometimes they don't throw away garbage at school. At least the summer camp that he's in, I think it goes with most of the elementary or maybe kindergarten school or maybe pre-K school. Whatever that they eat, whatever that they couldn't finish, it goes back into here and then it comes home. So that, you know, one of the reason is obviously, you know, they don't want to have the kids, you know, going around, you know, throwing stuff away. And you like that because you don't want them to throw out the non-disposable items away. And another thing is that when they come home, you would know what they didn't eat. The downside is it could dirty up the bag a little bit. So this is one of the bags that supposedly you could kind of like clean it with some wipes or spray it down with something and then clean it. But then there's this slit pocket here. Obviously this slit pocket, the mash, I don't think it's that wipeable, to be honest. If you have something like a tomato sauce on it, it's gonna be ruined. But supposedly insulated, it has this little thing for you to maybe put a bottle of something in it, or maybe put a jar. I don't think it actually holds like a big jar, but you could hold some like water bottle in place and then have space for your lunchbox or whatever thermos. And then here you could put, I would think that there are some, I see that there are some lunch bags out there. It has like a zipper here where if it has a zipper, you could actually put a lunch pack, an ice pack here, sorry, an ice pack here. But I would think that if it's this setting, since this is open, I would, if I were to put an ice pack, I would put it at the bottom and then put my lunch there. For cold lunches. So here you could probably put some napkins, put some, I don't know, forks and spoons and whatever thing else that's smaller here. And then water bottle or something like a drink, maybe ice pack at the bottom, and then your lunch. It's not a very high or tall lunch bag, so it holds probably like if it's only a lunch, it goes in here. If you have to pack a morning snack, a lunch, and then after school snack, not all of them are gonna go into here. Those with like an additional layer on top would probably work, or maybe two small bags. I don't know how other parents do it, but then their book bag is actually not that great, like not that big, or at least, you know, I don't want him to hold a very big backpack for school. So if I have this with like one of those with an additional section on top, it might just take up his whole backpack. Whereas this, you could just like kind of slide this into his backpack, and then it should still have room for other stuff like school folders and maybe some books and supplies. And then on the outside here, there is yet another pocket. A zipper. This is not an insulated one, so I think put something, I don't know, forks and spoons, napkins, if you're not putting it inside. But if I were, I know my kid is not going to look around in all those pockets. I would try to put everything in the center pocket and then here, and then just have him just go through it. The thing is that if it doesn't have a zipper, when they open it, they flop it, things might come out. So that's the only thing. I'm actually gonna leave this open for now and then go through some of the other stuff right now. Oh, 9 minutes already. Okay, let me get, okay, I actually forgot to get the thermos. So here are some of the options that I have for thermos. So the first one, again, my son loves Jurassic World, dinosaur, anything, so that's the only reason why I got this one. It's a thermo. It's it's a Funtainer. It's from Thermos brand, and it holds 10 ounces of food. It has a relatively wide mouth, so my son has no trouble eating off, you know, just opening it and eating food from inside of this jar. And it has like a rubber seal to make sure that things doesn't leak. The temperature seals inside. 10 ounces of food is for younger kids. It should be more than enough. I usually sometimes like I do fried rice in the morning. I just reheat it in the microwave. There were times that my microwave was not working, so I have to reheat it over the stovetop. That's a little bit more work. But mac and cheese, or even if you have something like hot dog or like nuggets, you could put it in here and it would stay warm enough for them to eat during lunchtime. So for this particular one, this lid has two parts, which is actually one of the things that I don't like because I won't be able to utilize them. So the first part is the blue part. That's the actual lid itself. And then for this one, it actually comes with a plastic spoon that is 2 pieces. You have to snap them together. And my son doesn't have the finger strength to take it out and snap them together and eat. And I would assume it's actually going to be hard to eat with that spoon anyway, unless you're eating something like oatmeal and maybe soup. But I usually don't actually give him the spoon inside. He's very curious about the spoon. He's done it a few times, but he couldn't snap it in the right way because it's actually quite hard. And then not to mention, after you eat, you have to snap it back or you dump everything in here. If he dumps everything in here, that means if I think that, oh yeah, you know, whatever leftover is, empty it into the garbage can, it's gonna be gone anyway. So I just feel like this part for younger kids, it's not really gonna work. And plus, I think it's quite flimsy. It's plastic. So this basically is an extra lid to just go on top of this to cover the spoon. So this whole area, it's basically just for the spoon. And for me, it's just a waste of space. But again, my son likes this. So the black portion, actually, so to get to the spoon, the black lid, there is finger indentation that you could try to just hold that and then it comes off. But the blue one, the blue lid, doesn't have anything. It's smooth. So someone with a smaller hand might not be able to just grab the whole thing and twist. But obviously at least at the kindergarten or at the summer camp that my son went to, the teacher would always be there to help. Just don't tighten it too tight, because if you really put piping hot food in here, the steam, you know, with everything, if you tighten it really tight, the steam would actually create a vacuum seal. So even adults would have issue opening it. So just make sure like it's just enough tightness where they could just twist it. So that's my feel of this. I like the Funtainer. I like that it's 10 ounces. I like the stainless steel. It does keep food. When I asked my kid, like, are your food still warm? Is it still good? And he said yes. I don't know what his level of warm really is, but it's edible. He's never got sick from it, so I'm pretty sure it's fine. Another thing about using thermal, any thermal, good thermals, is that before you put lunch in, before you put the hot food in, when you're prepping the food, first thing, pour some boiling hot water into the container and close it. Soak it for at least 5-10 minutes. So when your lunch is, the piping hot food is ready to go in, you open it up, dump all the water out, and then put the food in, and then just close it back. And just make sure you don't close it too tight. Again, the steam could vacuum seal the whole thing. And I find that actually works pretty well in terms of, I've actually tested it myself. It actually works pretty well. So I think the easiest is to bring some hot food. The only thing is that you have to heat it up in the morning, and then you have to preheat this to put it in. That's the only thing. I personally really like this Elephant brand. Don't ask me to pronounce it. It's a Japanese brand. They are very, we have a lot of appliances or like thermos and stuff. Like my bottled water is actually from the same brand. They actually keep food really, really warm. Like they keep the temperature really, really good. Obviously, I didn't have my son bring a pink one to school. This one is mine. And the only thing about this one is that, I don't know if this is a 10 ounces, but it's either 10 or 12 ounces equivalent. It's actually, the bottom, I don't know if you see, the bottom does not have like an indentation like this one. This one, the bottom kind of have like a little round thing sticking out. This one is flat. So I like that because when you're scooping up like something like fried rice, it's actually easier to scoop it up from here. The thing is that the lid for this one, it's a little bit harder to clean because it has more parts. This is a silicone part. This gasket is a silicone part, and then there's actually this part that I almost doesn't even want to clean. It's very hard to. It has like this little thing here where you just use it to kind of twist it open. It's even hard for me. I have to have my husband open that one for me. But other than that, I'm sure they have other configuration of food jars, that thermal that keeps temperature really cold. But just this particular brand with an elephant, I feel like it's very, very good. It's better in my opinion than the Funtainer. It has a little bit more of a moving part, but this one, the lid does have finger indentation everywhere for you to grip. So that's that. This particular lid is actually not as easy as to clean as it is. Like this whole part is easy. You could take the gasket out and then put it back. I hate doing that, so I have my husband doing that. But this little round, I don't know what they call it, thing, the hollow places here, it's actually very, very hard to clean. So if you have rice stuck in here, something sticky stuck in here, you have to use those really narrow brushes to go in it. And even the narrow brushes that I use for like straws sometimes doesn't go in it. So that's the only complaint that I have with this. And then obviously, again, the bottom, I don't know how, like, that's probably why sometimes my son comes back with like 2 bites of food. That's probably because he couldn't get to everything. And then the last one, this one, I got it from Target. It's kind of cute. The top looks like this. So if your kid has even smaller hands, you could actually just have them hold their thumb here and hold it here and then twist. And it would come right out. So this one, here around the gasket, the hollow area is easier to clean because it kind of this part actually kind of sticks out. You could still take out the gasket to clean, obviously. The top, supposedly it's easy to open. I believe it also holds 10 ounces of food, and this one it's actually round inside. I don't know if you could tell the difference. The pink one that I have here, it's completely like the edge. It's like a 90-degree edge inside, round, but 90-degree edge from the wall here to the flat part of the bottom. Whereas this is kind of like a little bullet inside. It doesn't have any sharp edges. So if you are just kind of like using a spoon, if your kid needs help with like spooning things up, this is actually a pretty good bottom, I think. It holds about, I believe 10 ounces. I have not actually measured it, but for 10 ounce, if you have one of these that has like wasted space on top, it's about the same height. Actually, let me measure this one. It is about the same height, so it's pretty. I mean, I think these two are actually pretty good. This one, it's good, you know, because my son likes it. And these two, I think it's a little bit more, it's a higher performance. And this one, I think I like the inside. So that's for the hot food. And remember, when you're using thermos, make sure you preheat it a little bit before you put food in. Next thing that I am going to go over is I have these 2 Yum boxes that I started using. This one is the lunch box, which I like it because it's only 1 snap, and it's a very loud snap. So I keep on telling my son, make sure you hear the snap when you close it. So he has no trouble opening it. It's a little newer, so the hinge is not really all that easy to like open with 1 hand. So this is what it looks like inside. I have I think it's Panino configuration instead of the classic. The classic, I think, has more smaller compartments, but I like a big compartments because with the big compartments, if I put something like those cupcake liners, I could make small compartments myself. And when it's a big compartment like this, I could put a sandwich in here. The thing about this is the Yumbox is that this lid here, it's basically a gasket where these slits goes into these configuration, like the top of here, and then seal it. And that's the reason why this does not spill once you close it. Once it's, if it's in perfect working condition, it's not supposed to spill. And the food inside, like let's just say if you have cold food here and you have a sandwich here, once you close it, it's not gonna spill from here to here. And it's definitely not supposed to spill from the box to the outside. What I find is that for the most part it doesn't spill, but I did find that if you overfill the cold compartments or the watery compartments, the wet food compartments, it will spill. I had, I think, some peaches, like canned bottled peaches, and I didn't cut it small enough, so it's kind of like bulging out, and I thought that if I press it down and close it, it would seal it. It didn't. So it spilled a little bit. But other than that, it's been fine. So I put a sandwich here. Sometimes I put applesauce, I put fruits, and I put like yogurt. And then here I sometimes put like, last time when I had yogurt, I had some raisin here. You could put a little treat. On Friday, I like to give my son a little treat, like maybe a brownie bite or something like that. And if you have, like, let's just say veggies or that use hummus, you could put hummus here. You know, anything you fancy, like dipping sauce, salad dressing, and things like that. And then once you fill everything, snap it, and then you could just prep it the night before. I find that if you have even pretzels inside, once you close it, since it kind of seals everything, the air doesn't go in. If you put it into the fridge, it's actually going to be fine. Like for one night, it's going to be, I have not do 2 nights. But I do find that you could prep your Yumbox the night before and food are actually fine the next day. So this Yumbox, this is a pretty standard, you know, lunch bag, I would say. So this Yumbox goes in here. It actually has space to kind of wiggle, but then it's not enough space to put much of anything else. Maybe sometimes I just put utensils. These are the utensils that I give my son. I've been using these for years, ever since he grew out of the baby stage, which is basically the set comes in 3. He rarely used a knife, obviously. So it's basically a fork and a spoon. This spoon is large enough for him for 1 bite. And the fork, you know, it's a fork. It's not too sharp. And I like that the handle, it's pretty flat. It's stainless steel 1 piece instead of, you know, having some handle here and then stainless steel where the connection is. Sometimes when food gets stuck, it's very hard to clean. So basically I just give him this depending on what he is eating that day. And you could put it into like maybe a baggie and then just slip it in here or slip it on top here. So that's that. And then the second Yumbox that I have, it's a mini, which is a snack size. So the reason why I got this one, again, this snaps out just like the other one that I have. And then once you open it, the top is the same thing. It seals this so that between the compartment, the foods are not gonna spill over. So this I basically put, I could actually put a small sandwich in here if you cut it up and just stack it. You could put a small sandwich in here and then put maybe some fruits or yogurts or whatever, treats and stuff. So what I was planning to do with this is, if my son is having a hot lunch, let's just say this, if I need to pack him snack, I could just do these 2. So this could be for his morning snack, this could be for his lunch, and then maybe in a baggie of some kind, I would put, I don't know, something to go with this. I don't know, maybe a bread or crackers. So this is how it fits in the bag. So there's plenty of room for you to put some other baggies of stuff if he needs some supplemental things, or maybe some smaller containers, or like maybe a treat. So that's what I plan to use this for, which is I could be doing a lunch and a snack, because this could be his morning snack, or I could be doing, you know, lunch and a snack like that. So if I were to do these two, I have to use a different lunch bag though. That's the only thing about this bag. It's not tall enough for both of these to stack, and it definitely doesn't have enough room on the side to put two of these into the lunch bag. I've actually tried stacking them. It would close, but then that's me. It bulges out a little bit, and I don't want my son to be messing with the zipper when it bulges out like this. He would never be able to close it, and things would spill everywhere, and I just don't want that scenario to happen. So for the most part, this is the easiest, and I do like to pack hot food for my son's lunch instead of sandwich, because he doesn't like eating sandwich. So that's that. And then I have a couple of, I just have a sample. I got these containers from Lock and Lock. I order it from, I think, QVC. They almost always have some configuration that has a bunch of 1 cup size. And this 1 cup size is actually perfect for some fruits. It's sealed. So once you close it, and my son could do this like when he was 2 years old. Once you close it, the liquid inside is not going to spill out. Even if you have like liquid inside, like soup or water inside, it's not going to spill out. Whereas actually, I do have to mention that do not put any very thin liquids into here. You could put wet food like watermelon in here even. But if you put water or juice in here, I mean, you know, who would put that in there? But if you put water or juice in there, it will spill between compartments. It's not meant to, it's meant to be have hot, like, not hot, wet food, like maybe even applesauce, yogurt, but not water. Whereas this is completely sealed, and it's 1 cup size, which is perfect for either snack, or I actually like it for at least like fruits, like blueberries. So this is one of the things that I could use in conjunction with this configuration. I could actually just put it like right here. And then I have another one, which is a lot smaller. I think this is probably, is it a half cup? It's a square like this. Same thing also from Lock and Lock. This I actually got it from a set of many. So I only have one of this, whereas these you could buy like a dozen of it from QVC, probably for like 20 bucks. So this I only have one. I have some other like shape that has like the same size, but this particular square one I only have once. And I find that this, if you give them like a few crackers, or maybe a few cheese, or maybe just a treat like a brownie bites or two, it fits perfectly into here. And especially if you are giving them something that could crush like crackers, you don't want to put it into baggie, because you know, by school lunch it's gonna be like cracker powder. So you want it to have like a hard case to put those crackers in, and this I find if it's a few crackers it would work really, really well. Again, same thing for this. If you have some treats like a few chips, maybe put it into here, because put it into baggie does not work. It just crumbs everywhere. And then it's basically going to be like this, and then I could close it, but I actually think that if it's only one, it's easier to close. So, okay, another option that I have also from Lock and Lock. I really like Lock and Lock when it comes to plastic. I do not like to use plastic. I like to use glass at home, but obviously going to school, you know, for a kindergartner, you don't want them to be holding anything that could hurt them, and or so heavy. So this is a set of square Lock and Lock containers that's plastic. This particular set that I got has, this is not the only two, but this is the two that I usually use the most for just, you know, for my son especially. And these are basically airtight, watertight. So, and it nests with the lid. As you see me just put this whole thing into here. There are some smaller ones that goes into here. There are some bigger ones that this whole thing goes into. So I really like this set. It's good for sandwiches. Even like a small sandwiches for my kid, I could actually just give him this for sandwich, and then give him some other stuff for, you know, other stuff. The only thing is obviously it's plastic. So plastic, I think initially, I mean, it's okay as long as you don't heat it up, but plastic degenerates after multiple use because he could be going to school, it could be heated in the sun. It's not ideal, but if I have to, if I put it into like if I have an ice pack in there, I would, you know, be comfortable with sending him to school with some, I mean, I don't know, snacks, sandwiches, or maybe fruits in this. If I have to, I would do it. So I have 2 of these that are for him. And then I wanted to also kind of go over what I do with his sandwiches to make him or to get him to eat. I know that people keep on saying, you know, if you make it cute, they'll eat it. So I try to do that. And I bought a set of these, what is it, sandwich cutter? It's not cookie cutter, sandwich cutter. So I got a set of like 10 maybe. There are stars, there are hearts, there are, you know, certain, this is only 2 examples. I've got like a bunch of it that I didn't even open or wash yet. And I got this particular set just because I like, you know, the shapes that I got. So basically you put like 2 pieces of bread, whatever the filling is, could be ham and cheese, it could be peanut butter and jelly, and then you slap them together, and then you just basically use the sharper side, press down really fast, otherwise it could break the bread. And then once you release it, what I find it's very easy to do is once you press down, make sure you get all the crust outside out, and then you just gently push the sandwich out from all the angles, and then it would be fine. I tried doing this. My son is really intrigued, and he seemed like he is happy with it. So far I've only used 2 or maybe 3. I think I have another one. But these at the bottom here, it's pretty sharp, so you have to have some place to store it so that you don't, you know, just try to accidentally cut yourself with this. And then another thing is that I got a bunch of other stuff. Again, my son is very into dinosaurs, so I got him a bunch of these little picks for maybe picking up like smaller food, maybe like a blueberries where you could pick up with your hands. I didn't realize that the picks itself is so short, but these are all dinos. And my son loves dinos, and that's the only reason why I got these. Otherwise, I would have gotten something that's a little bit longer, maybe something a little bit like maybe round, so it's easier to hold. These are, in my opinion, a little too small for young kids because, you know, they could actually just put the whole thing in and accidentally swallow it if they're trying to be playful. I mean, obviously, they're not trying to eat it, but since it's so sharp, but maybe they're trying to be playful and just put the whole dinosaur in their mouth. So this, to me, maybe it's just for decorating purposes. You can't even skewer like a tortilla roll up in it. I mean, I don't know. It's just really for fun. Another thing that I got, which comes in this particular set of 10 something sandwich cutter, and these are not something that I particularly was looking for, but it came with it, so I mean, it's fine. It's these, I think you could call these cookie cutters with different shapes, and it comes with these where it wouldn't hurt your hands. There's a sharper side, you just press down, let's just say for some cheese or I don't know what else you could press down, like bread and stuff. You could make shapes out of it, and I do find that depending on the shape, like for this one, this particular part, it's so narrow that I couldn't clean. So I actually did some cheese with this. I feel like if there's anything that gets stuck in here, I won't be able to clean them. So I'm not really all that comfortable with using them long term, and it's not really all that well made either. If you could see, like here, it kind of, like it's not too well made. And I kind of get a feeling that after a while, these would rust. There are some really good quality ones out there. So that's one of the things that you have to make sure you kind of pay attention to is your cookie cutter. Are there any small spaces that you might not be able to clean? Because I've gotten, I think, cheese on it and I couldn't clean them. I could show you the rest of the cutters. I still have like a whole box in here. I have one for star. I actually like this one. It's a crown, so it's 2 crowns. I like the ones that doesn't waste too much bread. So this is something that I really like, that use up the whole bread. Except for the crust, obviously. This is another one that could use up most of the bread. And then, I mean, the other stuff, it's pretty normal stuff, like, you know, 2 elephants. Oh, and I think the heart, it's okay. It used up most of the bread too. So if you are looking for these cookie cutters, get something like this where you could mostly just cut out the crust, and then you could use most of the bread, you know, in your sandwich. And then here is, along with the other piece, is what I got in a set. There are many different shapes here, where I think this one would be very hard to clean, and also this one would be very hard to clean. This one has a little nook there. I think it's not impossible, but this one would be easy to clean, and this one would be easy, and the puppy would be easy. So I think the frog, what is it, a puppy and a cat. The turtle is going to be hard. I don't even know what this is. I don't know what that one is, but those are hard to clean, I think. So those are, the other 3 would probably be the ones that I use next. So those are the food related items. Now the last thing is, I want to talk about bottles. Obviously, you could buy a container, a Contigo water bottle, plastic. Supposedly it's very easy to use, easy to clean. I don't know if it's still, I've used Contigo, but I've used Thermos before. I've never actually used their plastic bottles before. I try to send my kids in with stainless steel. So far I have to say, of the 3, so this is a Klean Kanteen. This is a Funtainer. And this is a Contigo, but stainless steel, not the plastic one. I like this one the most. And so let me tell you why. So the first one, this is the first, I wouldn't say the first, you know, stainless steel that I got for my son, but recently this is the one that I got for him initially. So it has a straw, so you don't have to tilt it to drink it. But this part, I do like it that this straw, you could press down and everything is going to be enclosed. And then what you do is you just press this button, it's going to come right out and you could drink from it, and then you just press down. Now, the only issue that I see is that once it's up here, in order for a kid to press it down, they can't press the yellow, it's hard for them to press the yellow part down and close it like I do, because I have more finger strength. So they would be touching the mouthpiece here. Good thing my hand is relatively clean, right? They would have to be touching here to press it down, and then this thing, it's gonna come and, you know, get their finger, unless they know how to maneuver it. The instruction says that after you wash it, you're supposed to have it open to air dry it, because it's not something that you could actually take out to wash. If you could see inside, it's not something that you could actually take out. If you take it out, I don't even know how you could put it back in, unless I missed something. So that's the reason why I don't like it. I do find that this one, it's relatively spill proof. I don't actually have any issue with the seal itself, but to be honest, after I bought it, I did not really use it all that many times, especially not at school, because we've been using it over the weekend. And I'm usually very watchful of where the water bottle is and is it tilting and stuff like that. But it's easy for kids to just carry this around. My son carried this around, no problem. One thing with stainless steel is for new stainless steel bottle user, you do have to lift it up so that you can see how much water that's still in there, which for some school and for some kids, it could be an issue, because if you can't see through it, the teacher doesn't know how much water you still have. They don't know to volunteer to refill your water bottle, so your kid has to kind of like ask for water when it's empty. So that's that. And then the next one, a lot of people like this Klean Kanteen. This way, Klean Kanteen. It's stainless steel. This one is relatively easy to wash. For my son, I still have his Sippy spout in it. That's how it is. This is something that could possibly get lost depending on your kid. My kid, I've been reminding him to do not lose this plastic piece. So he's been very mindful of that, and he has no trouble getting this out and drinking it. The water flow for this particular top is not very fast. There are obviously other top that would have the water come out faster, but I don't like that that one doesn't have a cover. So it's one of those that you pull up and then, you know, like a sports bottle, and then you just drink it like that. It doesn't actually come with a straw. Maybe there could be like another top that has a straw, but this one doesn't come with a straw. But I do see that, you know, you could actually put a straw inside, I would assume, and then you just drink like a straw cup. But this one you have to tilt it. The thing that I don't like about this one is that initially I thought it's spill proof. It's not. If you tilt it long enough, especially if that gasket is not completely sealed in, you will leak water. And I've had incidents where my son's water bottle leaked. And as in any stainless steel, if you drop it enough time, it would have dents. So this one has, you know, his war wound on it. But otherwise, it's a relatively decent bottle as long as you don't need it to be spill proof. Now comes to the Funtainer. This is a 12 ounce. Again, it's Dinosaurs, Jurassic World. That's why my son loves it. He wants to use it every day. So we have to have this one, you know, use it during the day, wash it at night, and reuse the same bottle. I would rather just get more bottles, but then these are not cheap. I got it on sale and this is still like $11, I think. It's 12 ounces of water. I think it's more than this. It's probably equivalent to this. So it's 12 ounces of water. It's relatively spill proof because, oh, I still have like water inside, because if you, and it's a straw, so you don't have to tilt the bottle. The seal, it's basically one big flap of silicone. So you just, this straw comes out of it, and then you know, you could wash it separately. And then this particular seal, I have yet to find, as long as you close it and the straw is sealed in, it has never leaked on us. And then it's very easy for him to just press a button and open. This is the one piece connected to the round silicone piece. It's one piece. So once you insert the straw, you just make sure that the things are in place. You just pull it, and then it would seal in place. And then you just put the straw at the bottom and then just close it. My son has no problem, you know, pressing this and then drinking it and then closing it back. This also has like a little handle that's built in if that's what they need, and if they don't need a handle, they could just snap it right back. So far this is my favorite water bottle for his school need, and for any need for that matter. Actually 12 ounces is, I think, just the right size. Stainless steel will be a little bit heavier than obviously plastics, but plastic comes with its risk, because even though it's BPA free, I don't know, maybe 5 years later, it's gonna say whatever plastic it is, it's leaching into his food that they just discovered 20 years later. So I mean, even stainless steel has like nickel, I understand that, but I think the risk is far less compared to a plastic container. And plastic container, sometimes when you're out in a field trip, when you're out in the sun, just, you know, going to school and back to school, or maybe if your school doesn't have AC, my son's kindergarten doesn't have AC, on a hot day, these plastic could heat up. It could actually get a little like weakened. So I would rather him have something like this and have like a nice print that he likes to use, a little bit heavier. It's fine. So I usually just stick this into the side mesh pocket of his backpack and just go with it. Oh, another thing is that obviously when you go to school, they ask you to label everything, and I find that obviously it's very hard to find a place to write, a permanent marker to write it, and it's so dark, and usually the Sharpies that we have is black. So I find that if you have one of those really tight and thicker rubber band, write the name on the rubber band and just have it rubber band at the bottom here, but it has to be tight. Otherwise, when you pull it in and out of that mesh pocket, or, you know, anywhere, it could slip off. And then, you know, obviously you could put stickers at the bottom, but then then you have to pull the sticker out, wash it, and then put another sticker there next day, which is a waste. I find that if I have the rubber band, the rubber band, it's actually a pretty good idea. So that's all the supplies that I have for now. I do have, at another video, I actually was showing book bags and stuff, but I do have another one of these cooler bags. I think it's going to be easier to clean. When it comes, I would show you guys. Maybe I'll add it to the end of this video. And then a new backpack that I think it's more suitable for my son that's coming in the mail, and then there are some miscellaneous stuff here and there that's coming in. I might add it to the end of the video if I haven't posted it yet. So if you have any questions, I will try to link everything down below. If you have any questions or comments, leave it down below and I will get back to you. If you like this video, please give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, Mommy Trainee. I will have more videos coming that's school related or kindergarten related in my channel coming up soon. So stay tuned. Bye bye.